Peace and Divine Light. This is a presentation on family crests, trust seals, and ministry seals by the Legacy Crest, and I am your host, Chief Minister Phoenix. So let's start off. What is a family crest? From the battlefield to the courtroom, a family crest holds weight. They are used to recognize and represent your family heritage and celebrate your family's achievements. A family crest is a sacred, powerful image that will represent your family for generations. Use it to claim your jurisdiction, represent your estate, and make your affidavits more powerful. Whether you're on the journey of nationalization, building trust to protect your assets, or just wanting to better represent your legacy, a family crest will set your family apart from the rest. The history of a family crest. So in this presentation, I'm mainly using the term family crest, but it used to be called a coat of arms, and today those terms are pretty much synonymous with each other. So the coat of arms, or family crest, has been used for centuries all over the world. At first, it was for royal families to mark their property and distinguish their legacies. It was essentially a logo for the noble family. As time went on, all families began to use crests to mark their property and distinguish themselves from others. The family crests began to appear on seals, stones, stained glass, and other objects of value, all of which identified the owner. This was particularly important in an age when very few people could read or write. Using unique symbols and colors, crests are still used today by many families and companies. So today when we hear the right to bear arms, we think about weapons. But when it was originally talked about and coined as a term, they were talking about the coat of arms. The bearing of arms is the possession, use, or display of arms, also called coat of arms, coat armor, or armorial bearings. According to the usual description of the law of arms, this includes coat of arms, armorial badges, flags and standards, and other similar emblems of honor. So this is how important and how much weight a coat of arms truly holds. The power of a family crest. Coat of arms are more widely used, designed, and recognized today than at any previous time in history. So when a lot of people think of a coat of arms or a family crest, they're thinking about the 1600s and before, but they are used now more than any other time, and they still hold a lot of weight. The bearing of heraldic arms suggests solidarity within the family, a sense of belonging and place, encouragement of a lifestyle based on honor, recognition of the responsibility for service to others. Crests serve as a reminder to descendants who bear them, proudly representing an active relationship between members of a family and a visible linkage between past, present, and future generations. Armorial bearings contain a quality of intangibility, which is most significant to the family. Lands, monies, and properties may be lost or sold. However, a coat of arms is a recorded design of identification, which is fully able to survive change and loss. So as we're building these trusts and we're putting property within them, we can only hope that future generations will want to keep the property, will want to invest the money and continue to build it. But we essentially don't have power over that choice. However, a coat of arms will continue to pass down for generations. So that is something that is guaranteed to continue with the family legacy. So I created this map to show you that every country, every state, every city, every nation has its own crest or seal. I know we've seen them. Every government agency has one. Every university has one. They're all over. And I wanted to show you how unique and colorful each and every one of these crests are. No two look alike. And here's some more. So we even have some similar imagery in here. We have the crescent moon and star showing up in several of these, but they still all look completely different. So when we are making crests for ourselves, we want to make sure that we are showing our individuality and really showing who our tribe is, who our family is, what we are creating. We want to be really creative with these. So how can I use a crest or a seal? I know I need one, but how can I actually use it? So you're going to use it to distinguish your family from others. You can place it at the top of legal documents as your official seal. So when we are perfecting our documents, we need to have 3 seals on it. The first seal will most likely be the notary's signature. The second could be from the county clerk's office if you put it on the public records, or it could be from the Secretary of State. And then the third could actually be your own official seal. So if you get an embosser for your seal, you could properly mark your jurisdiction. So a lot of us are under the idea that we should take ourselves out of certain jurisdictions, but we have to be able to mark the jurisdiction that we are putting ourselves in. So each trust that you have is its own jurisdiction and needs its own trust seal. So number 3, mark your property and jurisdiction, as I just talked about. So you'd be hanging flags on your property, on your vehicles, whatever that looks like. Create heirloom jewelry to pass down to future generations, and elevate your family's prestige. And this is all in order to leave behind a legacy. And a family crest tells a story. So if you are creating a crest on your own, if you have offspring, if you have a partner, if you have siblings, whomever is creating the crest, whomever is going to use it, these are some questions that can help you in that guided conversation, in the planning process. What makes your family different from other families? What makes your family strong? What is your family's story? What values does your family have? What images and colors are important to your family? What is your family name and motto? And what represents your legacy? So by sitting down and having this conversation, you should be able to create an entire list of things that you want to incorporate into your crest, that you want your crest to tell that story. And then, of course, it's important to know the parts of the family crest. So up here at the top, this is what was originally referred to as the crest. It would be anything up on top of the crown or shield. It could be plant, an animal, whatever symbol you would like up there. And before I go any further, I just want you to know that you don't need to have every last thing in here. This is just the basic parts. So when we are going back and forth and editing your crest, we want to make sure that we're talking about the same parts. And you usually have a helmet or a crown, or sometimes both, up on top. And there's usually a wreath in between the crown and the shield. The shield is going to be the main part of the crest. The shield should be able to stand alone to show jurisdiction as well. And it could have anywhere from 1 to up to maybe 6 symbols in it comfortably. And then we have the ornamentation. So the ornamentation up on top is called the mantling. And down at the bottom, it's called the compartment. And the supporters on each side, they are supporting the shield. So they could be animals, they could be people, they could be trees, anything you want there. And then there's usually at least one banner, and that could hold your family name, your family motto, the established date, anything like that. So these are the very basic parts of a crest. And then we need to know that every single aspect of the crest should have meaning. There shouldn't be anything frivolous in these crests. So down to the colors that you're using, they're going to have meaning. These are the heraldic meanings of these colors, but if you identify with a certain tribe or anything like that, you could look up the specific meanings of the colors within that tribe. So black is going to be constancy and devotion. Gray or silver, peace and sincerity. Brown, patient and victorious. Purple, royalty, sovereignty, and justice. Green, hope, joy, and loyalty and love. Blue, truth and loyalty. Yellow or gold, generosity and elevation of mind. Orange, worthy and ambitious. Red, strength and nobility. And then, of course, every symbol, every animal that you are using in your crest also has meaning. I'm not going to read through all of these, but you can feel free to pause it and read through them. So you just want to make sure that you're putting a lot of thought in it. So let's say you and your family come up with 10 values that you want represented within your family crest. So you could have 3 of the values represented in a symbol within the shield. You could have 2 more values represented in the supporters. You could have another 2 values represented in the motto. And then you could also have values represented in the colors that you're using. So there's a lot of different ways to get those values represented within the crest. You don't only have to focus on the symbols within the shield. And then, of course, every aspect of a crest is customizable. You remember we looked at all those crests all around the world, and there were no two that looked alike. So the shape of the shield, the ornamentation style, the type of crown you want, the type of supporter, all of that should be unique. There shouldn't be any other crest that looks exactly like yours. So now I'm going to take you through my portfolio briefly. This is where the business all started. So this is my own family crest that I created in 2022. And I absolutely love the process. It was my offspring and I. And, we sat down and we had those conversations. We answered those questions. And it was just such a spiritual and powerful experience. And when we were done, we were just so proud of it. We put it on flags. We have heirloom jewelry that we're wearing every single day. It's on my laptop cover. It's all over the place in our home. We really use it to represent who we are, and people take notice of it. It is quite a conversation starter. But when I was done, I almost felt a sense of remorse. Like I wanted to keep creating them. And of course, you only need one family crest. And then I had created all the crests I needed for my trust and for my ministry. And I used this image as my image on Zoom calls in a couple different universities and classes. And enough people reached out to me asking where I got my crest done that I realized that there was a need for someone who's on this journey and isn't just creating a logo. A crest should not look like a logo. It should look far more royal than that. So a lot of people will recommend Fiverr. I do not recommend Fiverr. A lot of it is very quickly put together. It looks like a basic logo, and a lot of it is not original work, so it's not even copyrightable. All of my work is completely original. I start from scratch. I don't copy and paste anything, and I offer free consultations so you and I can talk about your legacy and what you're building and how you want that represented. So again, it's very spiritual for me to offer these crests. I'm just going to take you through this portfolio to show you that no two images are exactly alike. So here we have these two lines here. We have a line here, and we have a line here. And you can see that none of them are exactly the same. We have three crests that have the crossed swords in the back. None of them look exactly the same. We have an example of a crown and a helmet and the little wreath in between. Over here, a crown and a helmet and a little wreath in between. And here we have a crown that this family sent me a picture of this, and I did a digital representation of it. So you can see everything is completely original. And my signature style, so back when crests were made, they were made on metal, and it would be all one color, and then they would paint the other colors on. So my signature style is to make one of the colors look like it's actually metallic. So obviously that's the gold in all three of these. So you have some really, really unique supporters here, really unique symbols. So if you're kind of drawing a blank when it comes to symbols, one thing that I recommend is to, depending on what tribe you represent or you're related to, you could look up what's the Cherokee symbol for peace, Kemetic symbol for loyalty, heraldic symbol for truth. And you can come up with some really, really unique and creative symbols that way. I guarantee there's not another shield with these four symbols within them. Same thing with these four. Now, this one I had created, and this client was actually inspired by this one. So you can see I used the inspiration, but it's still two completely different elephants here. Using grass as the compartment is really unique. This tribe used all the birthstones of their tribal members in the crown. There's a lot of unique things that we can do here with these crests. These two are extremely unique. So this family came to me with an actual sketch, and they had 6 offspring. So each offspring gets a symbol within the shield, and each offspring gets a main feather on each wing. And I love that it's encompassed in this compass. And we have the sun and the moon represented. This family too, look at all this detail. The shield is divided by an ankh here. We have the little crest here. You have the rainbow representing their offspring, and it's all shielded with this cloak. So get creative with these. And a lot of people think that you have to choose between maybe 2 or 3 colors for your crest. Here's a really beautiful example of a very colorful crest. I love how they chose to use flowers as the ornamentation down here. Another example of 5 symbols within the shield. Again, unique supporters. And then we have the established date of the crest. And then they have their birth dates and their mother's birth dates over here too. So another little unique thing. And then if you have a lot of symbols that are long and narrow, this is another way that we could, design the shield so it doesn't look weirdly spaced out if we divide it by 4. Another example, the swords cross in the back. Again, more lions that were completely different from the other ones you've seen before. Here you have some sea goats as the supporters, very unique. The motto, you'll see the motto in German, English, Latin. So you're not bound by any language or anything like that. Like really, if you can dream it, it can be created. You can just see how unique and how different each and every one of these is. This is my first time doing humans as supporters, and they actually had the shield as part of the throne, which I think was very unique and very cool. And crests can be, more circular, or they can be more ovular. And all 3 of these are a little more ovular. Another example of a crown and a wreath and a helmet. And then these 2 are for the same family. So you can see the crown. They want the same crown on them. So this is their family crest, and this is actually their ministry seal. And you can see that it's sitting inside of the ark, which is really interesting. So some people might have the issue of they have too many symbols that they want to incorporate. You don't want 8 symbols in the shield because they'll just get smaller and smaller and smaller and have less meaning. So you can put symbols in the banner. They have Hebrew and Roman numerals here. You can see a bunch of symbols here. So there are ways to incorporate more symbols as well if you have more than what would comfortably fit within the shield. And then this is a crest, or this is a seal actually. So it's the Ohio Allodium Empire of Morocco. And this is probably a bit more simple. This would be something that you would want for a trust seal. So family crest, they're going to have the supporters and all that. Even ministry seals might not have the supporters. You might be looking at something more like this. It's just 3 different colors of the same design. So we have the crescent moon and the stars over Ohio. Then we have this flower of life design on top of it. So even though this is simple, it's still very intricate and very powerful. And then here are 3 ministry seals. So this in the center is my ministry seal. I put months of planning into this one, so there's a lot of meaning behind it. But ministry seals can also be far more simple than mine. In fact, they usually are. So don't look at mine and think that, you have to get this deep with it. If you just want some cross axes like this, and that represents everything you need it to for your ministry, then that is perfectly fine. You shouldn't be comparing or judging your own crest, because every single one that I've showed you holds a lot of power. And then, of course, we don't only do design. We also have products and jewelry. So these are just a few things that I personally have done with my own family crest. So I have 3D printed paper for all of my affidavits and any type of legal documentation. I have a wax seal to seal official envelopes. Even my trust documents, if I have something that I want to keep at home and I want it to be sealed, I would put the wax seal on it for a security measure. And this is what the wax seal looks like again. I've made stickers to put on things to mark jurisdiction, flags, of course, rubber stamps, and then the heirloom jewelry as well. And here's some more products that I offer. So this is the certificate with blazon. And it has the family crest origin details on it. So it'll have the name of your family, who created the crest, where it was created, what it represents, and then it will have a explanation of the image as well. So this is actually the explanation that you could use directly for when you copyright your own family crest. And then you can see how detailed the rubber stamps get. So you can use these as official seals, and you can use the embosser as official seals. So the embosser imprints the crest on either these golden seal stickers, or you can do it directly on the paper. You would just want to use some type of ink so it actually shows up when you're making a copy of that document. And then our standard size flags are the 12-inch by 18-inch, but we create flags of any size. You get to choose the background color and add text if you want to. And these are really great in all types of weather. Mine has been sitting outside for almost 2 years now in, sun, wind, rain, hail, and it is still, not a single tear in it. This is the wax seal box that we offer. So it's going to have 2 candles. You light the candle, break off a piece of wax, put it in the metal spoon, melt it over the candle, pour it on the envelope, and then stamp your crest in it. And you can see just how detailed these are. Everything that we offer is extremely high quality. And then we have these vegan portfolios or padfolios, and we don't offer the color printing anymore. We actually engrave the crest into the vegan leather. And then inside, this could be used as a family Bible. It could be used for a family trust. So I have one for each of my trusts to help keep my minute documentation separate. So I know that, a lot of us are told to keep all of our trusts separate. So this would be a great way to be able to do that. And then you get to add either your name or the family trust name, whatever that looks like. You get to add some type of text as well. And then, of course, heirloom jewelry. So we offer an heirloom jewelry package, which is going to be more of the basic jewelry. You get a large pendant, a signet ring, and then either a pair of earrings or cufflinks. And you can see that this is one of the most complicated designs that I showed you in the portfolio. And down to the ankh in the cross, you can see it on all of these. You can see just how detailed the jewelry can get. And then, of course, there's no limitations with jewelry. Other than I only work in solid gold or solid silver. I don't really work in any other metals, definitely no micron plating. We want these to last for generations, so they should be made only of the highest quality. So all different types of pendants and signet rings, lapel rings, bracelets. If there's anything you can think of that you haven't seen me offer, just ask, and I'm sure I do offer it on the back end. It's just a lot to list. And then I don't know about you, but I was raised pledging allegiance to the American flag. And I think it would be so powerful and so beautiful if we pledged allegiance to our own family crest, because that truly is how much power they hold. And we need to be building up our own families, our own communities, our own tribes. So I hope you have enjoyed this presentation. If anything piqued your interest and you would like to work with me, you can book a free consultation anytime. You can email me at service@thelegacycrest.com. You can visit our website at www.thelegacycrest.com, and you will actually be able to book your consultation here. And then on Instagram, if you give me a follow, we often do giveaways and things like that at the Legacy Crest on Instagram. So I have truly enjoyed this presentation. I hope you learned something, and I would love to work with each and every one of you. So please book a free consultation so we can talk about packages and pricing and payment plans, and let's get your legacy properly represented. Peace and divine gratitude.